Hello there. Um, those of you who know me for a long time knows that I belong to a number of panels, and panels are people who agree with a polling organization, one or another or multiple, to answer specific polls. And panels are usually, and I assume they are for me as well, although I don't know this, divided up. You get 33 Democrats, 33 Republicans, and 33 independents or something like that, so that they can pull a broad spectrum of views. And I always answer. A lot of people only answer those panels occasionally when they get them. I always answer them because I think I wouldn't have agreed if I didn't think it was a social responsibility. But I got a very, very interesting panel earlier this week, and late last week, really, at this point. And I've been thinking about it a lot. And I'd like to discuss it with all of you. The panel came in. Now, you've heard a lot of people talking in recent years, and you've probably heard me talking about reduced opportunities for the younger people, about problems with how younger people were going to survive economically. We all know, we've all heard the discussions of AI costing jobs. This panel, the questions were leading. There's no other way I can put it. The questions very clearly laid out, okay, it appears that there's not enough for the next generation, your children's generation, your grandchildren's generation, whatever, to have the type of life that you had and that people enjoyed for most of the last century. Do you think, and there were questions, and unfortunately, once you answer one of these, you can't get the exact questions back again. But it was very clear that they were feeling around to see what the panel members thought the best way was of convincing the young people to just suck it up and live in a reduced world, a world with less economics, with less things of value, unable to own a home, unable to have children as early if they wished due to economics. It's extremely clear. Now, it doesn't point out the obvious, which is that the reason that this is happening is not some mythical thing, and it's not too many people. It's too much money concentrated in that top 198 families that also occasionally get talked about, but not in this poll. Do you think people will, accept having less? Do you think on and on and on? It was very clear. I don't know who sponsored it. These are usually sponsored. Whoever sponsored it wanted us to say, oh, yeah, it's fine. I don't think it's fine. And I think I made that pretty clear. But that is part of something that I've seen a lot of recently. It seems like there is an effort to paint as inevitable, unstoppable, irreversible, the decline in living standards for everyone, but particularly for younger people. A lot of people my age had things locked in. I spent 30 years in a career that would not have been my first choice because it guaranteed a good retirement. And those things were locked in, invested. And then I retired, and now I've gone back to work half-time, or part-time. But that's just because I want to, and I love students. But the idea that people shouldn't be able to have children because they can't afford them, the idea that people shouldn't be able to have a home that they own, the idea that people should never be able to pay off a mortgage, should never be able to pay off student debt, and that somehow we should help make that normal, strikes me as absolutely unacceptable. And at the same time, now I'm reading stuff in job futures reports and so forth, going, oh, yeah, AI is going to be a net positive. Give it 10 years and it'll produce a net additional number of jobs, and they're going to be well paid jobs. And I do see that there are some well paid jobs coming out of AI, but at the same time, a prompt engineer, and they're saying, oh, they'll be well above. So a top prompt engineer maybe makes 130,000. I know top programmers who are making 250. So even at the upper end, it's a reduction. I find this very concerning. And I do not know for sure that they are correct about the I'm not sure they're correct about the numbers of jobs. In fact, I suspect they're not. I suspect this is a salve to keep people quiet for a while. I have been at Quiltlims. I've discussed one of them before where this type of question was raised by people like me, and you couldn't get a clear answer. Where are these jobs coming from? When are they going to come? You didn't get clear answers. So I don't know that that's actually going to happen. I hope it does. I mean, I would much prefer a net positive to a net negative. I would much prefer a stable, positive future going forward to a negative one. But, you know, even the chairman of Goldman Sachs in his recent speech said we need to have universal basic income. We need to guarantee health care, education, and housing for everyone if we're going to survive as a capitalist system. And I know some people go, well, that isn't capitalism. Well, it also isn't capitalism when you bail out the companies. And we've done that 3 times in my life, companies and banks. That's not capitalism either. And I would far rather see, if they're going to bend capitalism, I would far rather see regulated capitalism that cares for its people, like it does in Europe, than capitalism that only cares for the elites. That's all. Have a good day.